I think I was pretty much spot on, I think.
Yeah, I think that was pretty close. So we've decided on the name Speaking Goodly because we do that. We do good speaks. So why did we decide Speaking Goodly? Do you recall?
Because my tongue is broken.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I bit down on it really hard when I saw a really good meme the other day.
Okay. I thought it was because I had a mental retardation problem, but that was just me.
Well, you weren't supposed to figure out that was the real reason. I was trying to be nice to you.
Look. I've had too many people in my life be nice to me. Sometimes you really just need somebody to slap you in the face.
Well, I'm a little too far away to do that.
True. Well, I think good slaps in the face come in the form of disruption, though. Like, I've bitched about this for, like, too many years now, where it's like, Christopher Titus is one of the best, like, realism comedians, where he helps you realize, if you're not prepared for when shit hits the fan, you are fucked. Like, when your bank account goes collapsing, you can't pay, you lost your job, or your friend dies, or your car explodes, like, you're not prepared. So the kind of, like, weird way to handicap yourself is to fuck your life up in a weird way that you can control the chaos. So that when shit's hitting the fan, well, you're used to it at that point. It's kind of a weird, like, set way to live your life, because you ever hear, like, of the crazy shit that happens on the New York subways, metro system?
Like, public masturbation and muggings and stuff, or...
Yeah. To somebody who's used to, like, shit hitting the fan, that's just a normal Tuesday to them. Like, that's just the daily routine.
Yeah.
To somebody who's never been to New York City and's going on there and seeing somebody get stabbed, it's like, oh my god, you gotta go to fucking therapy, you gotta talk to somebody, I need a counselor, I need my husband to hold me and my 14 kids because I can't put a condom on. Like, no, when you're crazy or you've seen some crazy shit, that's just normal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to live your life. Anyway.
So in other words, you want to make friends with as many crazy people as possible to make your life easier down the road.
Oh God, yes.
Okay.
Crazy people. Okay.
So are you, for the record, what you're saying is to all the kids out there, make sure you join a gang in high school.
No. You find the weird kid who's sitting by himself at the school table, and you talk to them. Now, if they're like the ones that are gross and stinky, and they're just like, oh, my mom told me I can't change my underwear today. I have to wear it for 3 weeks straight. I don't know, something about Jesus. Like, don't talk to that kid. That kid's a little too out there.
What about the ones with the split personality?
Those ones are good. Those are fantastic ones to know.
Sweet.
I'm not joking.
I missed out. I would have been. No, I'm just kidding.
My God, you meet some amazing people. Like, I met so many chicks that were fucked up in the head because they just had the one parent that just beat the shit out of them too much. But fuck, man, they were good friends. They were good people.
I know it's not the way you mean it, but it comes off so weird. I know these girls, they were abused and they were like, but they were such nice people. It was so great. It's just that's the thing. It's just the contrast there is hilarious.
If you beat somebody enough, they're either going to go one of two ways. They're going to go the route of, oh, I'm damaged and I need somebody to protect me, so they usually continue the cycle of abuse. Or they go, I'm never going to hit my kids. And you see those people and they're fantastic parents, like amazing people.
Well, not necessarily, because a lot of them now are people that were spanked when they were kids in the 80s, and now they're determined that spanking is a horrible thing and it's abusive. So now they let their kids get away with anything they want, and that's why we have a bunch of little brats that think they're entitled to everything because they were never taught to respect other people.
So I will counter a little bit. I think it's mostly privileged ass people who are kind of like that.
Yeah, but I mean, people. Like, because of that mentality now, like, it's illegal to spank your kids and stuff in most states.
It is?
Yeah, like in New Jersey, it's considered child abuse. Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yep. I actually have thanked my parents for spanking me as a child because I felt like I gained more respect for them that way, because when I wasn't listening, I wasn't listening. So them telling me something else, like sit down, is not going to work because I just wasn't listening.
Oh, no. So, my parents proclaim they never spanked me. But I know for a fact that they did.
Yeah.
They didn't, it wasn't like a frequent thing. It was like up until I was like 8-ish, I think. And they were never like, we're hurting you. It was just kind of like you're being an idiot.
Right.
But I don't think people like realize how fucking crazy young boys who are left by themselves can be.
Oh, yeah.
This is a real story. I was bored one day. I had no video games. I had nothing to do, no television, because my parents were psychopaths, and I wasn't allowed to watch television for 5 days out of the week. And by the way, don't do that. That's how you fuck your kids up. You give them healthy exposure. Anyway.
Well, if you're going to do something like that, you have to replace it with something else. That's the thing, is you can't just take away entertainment and not replace it with other entertainment.
Oh, no. That's the thing. I had other entertainment. I had, like, writing books. I had a bunch of books I could read. I could go outside. I had Lego. Like, I had outlets. But the thing is that it's like curse words. If you tell a kid you can't say the word fuck, like, it's a bad word, and the kid will ask you why. The next thing you know, a year later, when you find your kid hanging out with his friends and just swearing up a storm, it's because you didn't like give them the proper exposure. It's like, oh well, this is what the word means. Here's why you shouldn't say it in front of people. But you hear stories like Kevin Smith, who raised his daughter to be like, you can curse as much as you want, just don't do it in school, and the kid don't curse no more. Like because you gave him that like control. You have to give somebody the ability to make that decision.
See, I'm actually the other way around. I was raised believing that it's not, you shouldn't use profanity. And well, see, here's the thing. I actually grew up respecting the power of the words. So while I was told not to use them for religious reasons, I was also kind of told more or less that it's more about a respect thing. Like, these words have a lot of power and there's a lot of meaning. You don't just throw around these words, which a lot of people do because they're devalued now.
I'm from New York.
No, yeah, but here's the way I look at it, though. So many people don't really care about the meaning of the words anymore, right? They're just words. But if you know me, like we've had quite a few conversations now, and I've never said anything profane. I've never used anything considered profane. I mean, but if we were in a heated discussion that seemed like it was getting a little aggressive, and I suddenly threw out a word that you know I don't usually use, I've taken this to a whole nother. That this is not the conversation it just was. Know what I mean?
So you have to predicate that though on that kind of knowledge.
Well, no, I'm saying like we don't have we haven't talked that much, but I mean like you would still, there's still more weight to what I just said because that word obviously has more meaning to me. That's what I mean. So like I'm saying like if like a regular person on the street, obviously it's not gonna have an effect because they don't know you.
Yeah, well, I think that's maybe kind of a cultural thing because inflection is more important up in here. Like, it's always kind of come down to how you say it. Even when it's, like, straight up racist things. Like, it does not matter up in, like, I'm in the Buffalo area, and, like, nobody cares what you say. It's when you have that demeanor or that intention behind what you say is when people go, oh, we're getting heated here. There's something going on now.
Right, I'm not saying this is across the board.
Well, I'm just saying that's kind of the difference. Because I would say, nobody really cared about what you called somebody. I remember saying the first time I called somebody a cunt in front of my mother, and it was just kind of like, oh yeah, she is a cunt. My mother agreed with me, but the inflection was like, oh yeah, we both hate this person. I don't remember who it was, and it was just this way of being like, yes, we agree that this is a person we will never see again in our lives, but for this momentary joke, we're calling them cunt.
Yeah.
I've always found inflection to be that's kind of my fort, because that's what we do up here.
Well, inflection's a huge part of it.
Where did I go with this tangent? Oh yeah, the story with so I was bored one day. It didn't happen quite often with the tangents, but I literally went outside, found my parents' hatchet, and started throwing it at the house. Now you might say to yourself, wow, that sounds pretty moronic. Why would you do something like that? I don't know, I was 14 and bored. So
Yeah.
when you say something like hit your kids, I for some reason I think to myself that might be a valid reason to spank your kid. Don't beat them and like abuse them. Just give them a little bit of knowledge of like, hey, you're gonna fix this damage, but you're gonna also suffer for like a minute or two because that's what it would be like in real life. If I went to my work and I just took a hatchet and started throwing at the building for no discernible reason, chances are I'm about to be fired on the spot while being
Yeah.
kicked off by security.
Yeah. I mean, my sister was born 12 years after I was, so when she was like starting to walk and talk, I had to be her babysitter all the time, especially because I was homeschooled again at that point. And during that period of time, she refused to listen to anything I had to say, and I was left in charge of her all the time. So because I was not a spanker, because I'm her brother and it's legal, what were my options? Timeout. But she would just stand up and walk away. Like that was, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing is that's the I don't like the argument that I've heard the argument before that you shouldn't punish kids at all, because they're just kids. They don't know what they're doing. It's just nonsense. But like you here's the thing, a kid has to learn respect. Kids aren't born with respect. They're born wanting to do what they're going to do. They're not naturally going to respect things or whatever. They have to be taught how to behave and how to interact with people appropriately.
See, I'm real excited for when I do have kids to try the kind of Joe Rogan method. I think it's going to be really interesting, the idea of just, you got to take kids and you just got to run them ragged on energy. You got to let them run in circles for 6 hours in a day and then sit down and be like, all right, you're done. Your energy's expended. Now it's time to focus up for a minute and actually be like, learning some shit. But when it comes to like, discipline, there's so many theories and little like evolutions that people are trying to take on to like old training and new training methods and all this stuff. But it really does come down to a per kid basis, and that's not saying anything special, but what I find is that you could have a kid that you specifically tailored to be like one way, like, well, I don't know, we tailored this kid to be a nerd, for example, and out of nowhere just things will happen where the kid's like, no, I've actually just been always interested in sports, like something you've never really ingrained into a kid. And that's kind of something you got to do, is you got to like read them. You have to figure out, okay, well, if I take away this, well, then this is the reaction. Okay, well, what can I do instead? Maybe I can do this and try to teach them something, or like take away like the running ragged time and then use that energy to something boring, or like it's all adaptive learning. And
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see what happens with it, because I feel like there's going to be, throughout the rest of history, there's going to be all these little teaching and growing moments that people will have.
For sure.
Anyway, well, let's get on topic here for a moment, because I was like, oh, hey, we're talking about children. Yes. But in the wake of the 9-year-old army, with PewDiePie announcing that he's going to be going to DLive. Now, before we even get into this, do you know anything about blockchain?
Not much.
So, I love blockchain because it's actually pretty unique when you read into the nitty-gritty of it. Now, I will 100% admit I don't know the nitty-gritty of it, but I know like the generalized ideals of blockchain. So what blockchain is the idea of decentralization. And you hear that word a billion goddamn times and nobody explains what it is. But basically what it is like, imagine you have a website that's running not off of like an array of servers and shit like that. Instead, it's kind of everyone's computer accessing this type of internet. And basically, anytime something happens, like for Bitcoin, this is like how it works, is like it says, oh, so-and-so is trading 1 Bitcoin to so-and-so. Well, everyone on the blockchain gets that notification. And there's so many little transactions that happen, you can't even really keep up to it. But basically, there's a digital footprint in the blockchain that everyone can kind of see, and it's like a set of rules that everyone has to agree to. And when you do something like that, there's kind of no one central power control. Like nobody sits there and says, I can add in 1800 Bitcoin tomorrow. Like, no, there's like a set of rules that everyone agrees to and has to participate. So when they say they're trying to decentralize DLive, I'm really intrigued to see what they're going to do with blockchain in that sense.
Yeah.
But like the thing that was really interesting that I heard from Quartering's video was that they're not going to take any revenue cut from donations, but it also kind of sounded like they are taking a cut. Like it kind of sounded like they were taking a 90.1% goes to the creator, and then 8% of that's going back to the community, and then 1% was going back to, I believe, DLive. I could be wrong on that one. So kind of what my guess is that if you know what Minds is trying to do this idea, which is basically they're trying to make a cryptocurrency where everyone can earn their cryptocurrency, whatever they call it, D token or whatever the heck. And basically, for every time you comment or you're watching somebody or you're interacting or you're bombing people's streams or rating them and whatever, like you'll get rewarded with this cryptocurrency. And basically, what Minds does, which I think is ingenious, is they say, okay, you can trade those currencies between other people on the website. So let's say you have somebody on the website that you really like following, like I follow you, for example, on Minds. So I happen to get 2 Minds tokens. Well, I can give those to you as like, oh, hey, I left a comment and I want my comment to be featured slightly higher for a couple of tokens for like a limited amount of time. You can then take those tokens that you're earning and go, hey, every time I'm posting now, I'm going to invest a couple tokens. I'm going to sell them back to the website, and I'm going to get my posts higher up, and I'm going to get, like, it's like an advertisement, just like you pay with money, but instead you're paying with these tokens in there.
Right.
So I've got a feeling that's what they're going to try. That's what they're trying to do over there, but I got to go see this. I'm real excited.
See, I haven't... That kind of... If that's what they're going with, I don't know. See, like, I did try Minds for about a week, and there was another one I tried for about a week as well, but both platforms were, like, just full of, like, porn accounts, so I dropped both of them. Granted, that was, like, a year ago. But, that's... I feel like there's so much gaming that can happen to that system with Minds, like, the way it's set up, the way it was described anyway. Just because, like, if no one decides to promote things, and they just have a naturally popular account, then they kind of just destroy the economy of the website, right?
So
because they'll just continue gaining.
But that's the thing. So how the blockchain type of thing works is that, well, in most blockchains, I don't know about all, is they go, okay, in the lifetime of, for example, what they're calling it is Lino points. So Lino will have 10 trillion coins. We're just going to call it that. So from now until I think it's like 98 years from now, there will only ever be 10 trillion coins of Lino coins. So basically, the first year that it's out, Lino Coins releases 1 trillion coins of that 10 trillion. And basically, it's kind of like any economy where every day or so, they only print so many coins that go into circulation.
Right.
And so you have a set kind of rule, which is what blockchain is, which is saying is that we're all trying to mine these coins, but we all agree there will never be above this many coins. So kind of like a US dollar, it's like you can't print more US dollars to create more value. Basically, you're only ever adding in a set amount, and it decreases every time. So like the first time is 1 trillion coins, and then the next time is a billion coins, and the next time is like 100 million coins, and so on and so forth. So the idea generally is that for most of the coin cryptos is that if you jump in early and you mine it early, you can have a chance to collect as many as possible, but that's a different thing for a different time. So that's kind of the idea with controlling that and not letting things get out of hand, because everyone kind of knows a number. So if you know that, okay, well, the average user is going to have about 0.5 coins or whatever, then, you know, how many people are competing, maybe I can get this many coins and I can sell them back for this much money. So you kind of have a fixed economy. The only thing that ever changes is what the perceived value of that coin is.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, if we had somebody who was actually better at economics, could probably explain it better, but that's roughly what it is.
It doesn't help that we're both kind of not. We're both a little fried.
Yeah. That's. I think decentralization of everything is a great idea, but when it comes to PewDiePie being on there, I've been seeing this one thing, and it's aggravating the hell out of me. Which is people are saying, "Oh, PewDiePie, no advertiser wants to touch PewDiePie." So obviously he jumped in on this deal at a super discounted rate. No. What these people do, generally, and it's a great idea because this is something that John McAfee does all the time, which is basically he says, "I'm jumping on DLive for a sponsorship." So DLive gives him a payment, like a normal sponsorship payment, like kind of like a down payment, maybe like 10%. But then they also give him a bunch of currency. So when he starts talking about the currency or whatever, he's got a huge reserve of it, and he probably sells it when it's at a peak point, and then you make away with bank.
Yep.
That's what a lot of these people tend to do with this type of stuff, and I think the SEC is looking into it as like a type of laundering.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because like there's like certain disclosures that people are circumnavigate, like kind of getting around, and that's kind of one of the big things is that because technology evolves so much faster than the law does, so if you can get away with kind of doing something shady and being like, oh no, I don't really have the money, it's all in this coin or whatever, well,
right.
Where's the proof?
Well, it's interesting because like in this situation specifically, as you saw, they're giving PewDiePie right now is supposed to be giving away $50,000, Mr. Beast style, during the stream on the 14th, I think it was.
Right.
Which is just really, it's a really interesting move because I saw somewhere that the more people that join in that period of time between now and then, the higher the amount he'll have to give away will be.
Right.
So it's I don't know. I'm not this is not a new concept, like people paying a person to be on their platform. Obviously it's not a new concept at all. But I've always been kind of leery of it. But the thing I'm interested in is what this will, like, if this actually draws a lot of audience away from Twitch and YouTube, like how much it will cause DLive to grow and the others to shrink in any way.
So that's kind of what's intriguing from the money perspective, because on face value, DLive is going to lose a shitload of money on this. But that's on face value. So that's kind of where the crypto part is, why I think that's what they're trying to do, akin to what Mimes is doing, is that they're going to hold a reserve of a whole bunch of coins because they've, like if they already made the ICO and they actually like bought up a bunch of their currency when they first launched it, well then if they hold it, then they sell it when they like are starting to get more eyeballs on it, well then they walk away with a couple bucks. But for longevity's sake, it's like, okay, well, how are they going to make their money back? And the idea is that, well, if there's small trades that are happening among, like, like say I like watching PewDiePie and I donate to him some of my Lino points, well, I think that DLive gets a cut of that. I'm not 100% on that, but I think they get a small cut of that. Mm-hmm. And basically, I'm completely speculating here, I think they're banking on that making a profitable venture. And then eventually when they do get enough traction, they'll just go the normal route of having advertisers, but they'll use advertisers and this coin or Lino points to kind of have like a double form of income without touching the creator's donations. That's the best guess I can put out there for that.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, it's.
I'm curious to see where it goes because this, like, here's the thing. Everybody obviously wants a replacement. I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people want a replacement platform for YouTube, or at least a competitor to YouTube. If this was to actually draw, I know we're kind of looking at this from two different angles a little bit, but the thing that interests me the most is the potential for, like, this is the biggest YouTuber that is on the platform, right? And there's the fact that money is involved. If he moves to this platform and actually stays there, like actually stays like streaming on that platform, what draw does that have? If he actually draws people from YouTube and Twitch to DLive, like enough that it makes it worth it, would he be able to like give a secondary, like we'll say vanilla, bad example, but it's the only one I can think of off the top of my head right now. If PewDiePie was to go to someplace like Vanilla and start uploading there exclusively instead of on YouTube, what would the following be?
So I can actually kind of talk about this, because this is the same thing that I saw with StreamMe and Keemstar. It's actually really intriguing, because people keep thinking this is the classic mistake that Silicon Valley is making, and they assume that throw money at it, people will come. And that's not true in the slightest.
No.
Because...
you got to attract the user, the end user.
Not quite. You have to bring content. Content is always first.
Well, no, the content is how you attract the end user.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying is the ultimate goal is you need to get the end user. Without the end user, a platform fails. Look at VidMe. VidMe had plenty of creators, but there was no outside viewership because they didn't have the content that people wanted to see, at least not enough, and it wasn't widespread enough that the audience themselves left in mass. But if you had the biggest creators on the platform all go to one singular platform, YouTube would stay alive, but it wouldn't have the same content anymore. A lot of the content would be off platform.
Well, then there's also that argument of Vessel, because that's what Vessel tried. Vessel tried to get humongous people like Ellen on their platform. So they had the names, they had the brand, but people still didn't go there. Now, why would that be? It could be a variety of reasons, but it mostly boiled down to, I would say, user's experience.
Right. A lot of times it's the UI. That's one of the things that people hated about VidMe was the platform's design.
Yeah, I don't understand why people. Oh God, I'm probably just too much of a boomer here, but I like that look. I like the like old Reddit look. It's bare bone. I don't need this flashy ass crap and all this stuff, because all it does, like, I cannot stand when everyone wants to design things as if you're watching from a tablet. I hate it.
Yeah. Same here.
I am a guy who can look at 6 monitors. Stop treating me like I'm 9, please.
Well, I was friends with a group of people that were very critical of VidMe during that whole period of time. They had found out that a lot of big YouTubers that were only there because they're being paid to be there, but like VidMe couldn't get good creators, so you had like Ask a Gangsta who was on there doing this really positivity influence type stuff. But then if you looked at his YouTube content, it was like stolen content and all this. Yeah, it was just, it was all bad. It was all bad.
Well, let me go into
that's
this.
the thing is it was too weak. Like that's the thing is a lot of these platforms, what they have is too weak, and they try and pay to make it stronger, and it usually doesn't work because they don't get the right people behind it.
Well, exactly. That's a big factor, is that you can have the biggest names and it'll still fail. You could have garbage and it'll fail. You could throw $1 billion at it, it could fail. It like at the end of like the day, like think about Snapchat. Snapchat's a great example. Came out of nowhere. It just was basically an app, but it attracted a certain youth because the experience it gave them was flawless. Think about most people who watch on Twitch. That experience is really simple. A 5-year-old can figure out how to watch somebody on Twitch.tv. Like, it's that simple. Yeah. If this can kind of follow that type of suit, that's step 1. Then there's always like a billion other steps in the way, but I kind of, like, the kind of argument I have against it is that StreamMe should have had the same keys there to do that. Hitbox should have had the same keys there, but they had a fundamental problem, which is they didn't have enough stuff on there for people to watch.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's what I think with getting the biggest creator on YouTube, as long as he continuously streams there, the more people will be interested in that platform because he is the biggest creator. Just like because when he was with Maker Studios, people that knew he was with Maker Studios wanted to be on his network just because that was the network he used.
So,
and not to mention, there's gonna be a lot of people that jump into DLive just because it's less crowded than Twitch.
And I'm gonna be one of them. I'm not even afraid to admit that.
Oh no, I went back and made sure my account was still working. I'm debating actually streaming after we're done recording this.
I would.
I have a video I want to work on too, though. So,
But
but yeah,
well, let me go into this because this is important. The biggest thing that you need to do is bring in content, and I don't think that DLive is going to do this, and this is going to be a huge thing. Is that revenue split is going to be the hugest attractor for people who are already established creators.
mm-hmm.
Now, herein lies the problem. If you have somebody like Shroud or Summit or whoever, they're not going over there. You can try and convince them as much as you can. Unless they're getting some sort of deal struck like PewDiePie's getting, they're not moving. So here's the best part of where DLive will strive, but this I will admit is this is a coin toss. You think of like your streamers with like 1,000 viewers or maybe more established on YouTube. They're probably going to switch over immediately because I tell people all the time, taking 30% for super chat on YouTube, nobody wants to be doing that. Losing payments on like Twitch for a 50% for a sub donation, people don't want that. So this is going to be a huge attractor to people who are already kind of either off platform or they've got enough of a following that they're gonna do this on the side or like as a kind of like switch, but kind of keep Twitch in their back pocket, like in case things go tits up.
Yeah.
And what my guess is, you're gonna see a very slow start because you can have PewDiePie on the platform. You're not gonna convince Ninja to get on there. It's just not gonna happen.
Not after PewDiePie's on there. If he was the first one to jump on there, he might have jumped on there for like secondary streams or something.
Right.
Not exclusive, but secondary.
Right. But I think with them being disruptive to Twitch's bottom line now, or in YouTube's bottom line, what will probably happen is that if YouTube and Twitch were to play it smart, they'll give more back to the creators to keep them from leaving, and that'll kill DLive in its tracks, I think.
Yeah.
That's
possible.
That's my guess.
Although if you look at the Epic Games and Steam situation, that concept hasn't played out there very well.
Yeah, but here's the thing: people are bitching, but they're still gonna go there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So far, like that's how it's always played out with everything because YouTube kind of has a monopoly. I'm actually working on 2 separate videos. Actually, one I want to talk about how supply and demand really kind of runs YouTube. And it's one of the reasons that YouTube has such as much as it's in chaos, it's really in balance at the same time. And it's one of the things that makes it hard for anybody to take down YouTube.
I'd agree. I think YouTube is still awesome. And people like to bitch about this site, but I'm like, just look at the amount of people who are leaving. And then look at people who are like Mr. Beast where they go, yeah, look at your analytics, look where people are looking for videos, and make things of what people are looking for, and you'll do fine. Like, yeah. You can't get more simple than that on anything.
Well, yeah.
Like
analytics is just really hard to read for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, no, I
And then there's things like my last video actually did horrible, even though it, like, I'm not going to go into specifics about it, but my last video, some people told me to think it was like either hidden or blocked by the algorithm or whatever because it had almost no views until people shouted it out, and the retention was good on it. Everything was good on it, so there's no reason it shouldn't have gone somewhere. So like stuff like that is one of the things that frustrates the users on YouTube. I don't know what the problem was with that one in particular, but I'm just saying, like, in general, that's one of the things that pisses everybody off. Not being, like, there's all these little holes that don't make any sense when you look at your analytics.
So, let me ask you. When you're watching videos, are you going to your subscribers tab, or are you just going on the front page and you're just clicking recommended videos?
For the most part, I go to subscribers when I don't have a lot of time. Like, when I'm just going to do chores or something, I go to subscriber tab. Really? I go to the actual subscriptions, but apparently a lot of people don't do that.
Well, that's something I don't understand, because for me, I'm like the subscriptions tab that's it. I don't care for suggestions because they're usually dog shit to me, and my suggestions tab has basically just turned into, oh, this person you're subscribed to is uploaded recently, which I've been preferring much more. But it hasn't been like that for 4 months, and I always thought that people were normally like that.
Yeah. That's what, see, that's the thing is I feel like a lot of YouTubers are like that, but then people that aren't YouTubers necessarily, they don't do that for everybody because they have the notification bell. So they can just get it in their notifications.
That doesn't make sense to me. That's so crazy.
It doesn't. It really doesn't, which is a shame because like one of my buddies Doplex told me that the video that I was just talking about, he didn't get the notification. Almost no one that I know got a notification. There was like one person that told me they got a notification about it. And the funny thing is, I actually know I was surprised to find out there's a lot of people that do have notifications on for me, which is weird. It's weird seeing that statistic in the analytics.
I've never had a notification problem. I don't understand how people are having this problem.
Yeah, I've had quite a few issues actually with it. Lately, I haven't had many notifications come through at all, which is weird because sometimes I get multiple notifications for the same video, and it wasn't re-uploads; it was a single upload.
Really?
Yeah, because I've even like Pyro, for example, he'll upload multiple times because it gets demonetized or something, and as he releases it, it gets demonetized or something. So he'll re-upload it, or there was a problem with it, so he'll re-upload it. So like one time I had 3 notifications from him in an hour.
Wow.
For the same video. But I've had it for other people, and I looked into it, and I asked them about it, and it was like, no, I just uploaded it the once.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's happened multiple times with Pyro.
I'm like one of the chosen few. Like, every time somebody's having a YouTube problem, I never have it. Like, I've gotten all notifications, even when I decided to start using the bell, because I thought the bell was the stupidest inclusion ever. My subscription tab has always been fine. The only problem I've ever had is if somebody had like a glitch to upload where they uploaded something and then I didn't see it in my sub feed until like a couple hours later, and like so I would literally like scroll down and I'd be like, wait, so and so uploaded, but I looked at my sub tab like 2 hours ago and it wasn't there. But something happened, like they would specifically like tweet it out and be like, I glitched my upload, or I set it to unlisted, and then somebody commented or something and it fucked it up.
Yeah.
I'm in the minority here. I got a good feeling of.
Yeah, it seems like it. It's really hit or miss. That's the big issue that everybody has, is that YouTube says it's not a problem, and then it's clearly a problem.
Oh, it's so very clear. I love the theory of like, I think it was Google Plus. I think they integrated a lot of the website into it, not knowing it was gonna fail, because they thought they could force people to do it and they would like it. And I think they built the site around that, what they built around Google Plus, and that fucked up a lot, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was one thing Markiplier said when everything started breaking a few months ago.
Yeah.
Was that when they announced they were getting rid of Google Plus eventually, and that they were starting to work on it, and then all of a sudden everything starts falling apart. And then I don't think they ever responded to that either.
No, why would you? Why would you take the risk of stockholders getting worrisome about something like that? Think about how crazy it is that the Google Plus shutdown even happened. They literally had a giant data breach and just said, all right, we're closing the service. Rather than facing any charges or any penalty or backlash from anybody, they just shut the service down, didn't get any backlash, and took no hit to their stock. They probably dipped like not even a point of a percentage that day, but as far as I can tell, Alphabet stock has been doing just fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that was what was it? Was it the H3 podcast that Mr. Beast was saying that Alphabet stock for YouTube is like mostly YouTube, and it does really well every time.
So, the big reason that like YouTube is kind of here to stay and nobody's really dominated is because if you think about it, you have the world's biggest search engine, Google, combined with the first biggest search engine in the world, YouTube.
Yeah.
And yeah, so when Mr. Beast says that, it's basically like saying, oh yeah, you control Google searches and Yahoo searches, but the first biggest one is YouTube now. It's a domination of their whole business, their whole enterprise is just basically being like, we take a financial loss on running and storing all the shit that people upload to our servers, but we make it up by basically being like, yeah, our name is known across the world. We are the internet to some people.
Right.
It's real powerful.
Oh yeah.
It's like Red Bull. Everyone knows what Red Bull is. You may not drink
That's
it,
why
you know it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm so excited though for the possibility that this whole thing with PewDiePie goes some unexpected direction. Like thrusting DLive into some kind of actual minor tier, but like almost competitive at some level with
Oh god,
other
yeah.
platforms. I mean, if that was to actually work out that way, think about it. 6 or 7 different YouTubers from different genres of YouTube, even if you include PewDiePie, leave to another side platform. If that was like, if it works for with this DLive thing, it's definitely possible that it could actually create a competitor.
So
That's why I'm curious to see what happens.
if DLive has like a video uploading section, I totally know how to make people a fuckload of extra money. I mean that in literal fuckload sense. Like Leonardo DiCaprio fucking Margot Robbie on a pile of money, amount of money. And I will give out the secret. I'll give out some parts of the secret. People need to work together and basically like reform like teams. Why do you think the FaZe guys are doing so well? Basically take like a small team of you and a bunch of other creators who don't share audiences. That's a big thing. And work together and then basically make like a channel together and then split the profits on that. Now I got ways and methods. You know, I'm touching my fingers all like sneaky like. There's ways to make that really profitable, but if people would kind of band together and, in so many words, unionize, you could be walking away with almost 5 figures extra every quarter. And that
I would argue that having different audiences isn't necessarily a problem, or having the same audience isn't necessarily a problem, because you would still all be circulating the growth. I mean, you needed a small variance, but obviously any channel that's different, even if they're in the same genre, is going to have a variance in the audience. But like if you look at James Marriott and like their whole group, a lot of them have an overlapping audience, but they've been continuously just growing like weeds.
But that's the thing is that like they dominate a section of the market. But here's the thing: like if you said Memulus, James Marriott, and I'm Alex all together, chances are if one person's subbed to one, they're probably subbed to all 3, and that's fine and dandy. It's just that you gotta throw somebody in there every once in a while who isn't involved in there for, say, for example, Laserbeam. Like, you just throw somebody's name in there who kind of is like, well, my main focus is this, but I also have like a side passion of doing this, and you basically kind of share that together. Kind of specifically what I mean is like, okay, well, Laserbeam I think has like 6 million subscribers or something like that, and let's say like somebody like KSI and I'm Alex, James Marriott, whatever, though that little group goes together. Well, what literally you do is you go, hey, Laserbeam, we're doing like a little mini inter-office tournament thing. Join us for that, and we'll give you like 10% this month or something like that. Laserbeam has to work for 1 or 2 days, make a video with those guys, and then they all share that overlapping audience, and Laserbeam walks away with a little chunk of change.
Yeah.
You just do small stuff like that. You know, somebody walks away with money or more audience, and another one gets new people onto their pages.
Well, right, but you're just talking about collaborations at this point.
Kind of, yeah, but you have to have a kind of deeper business sense than just like oh hey, pop in for a minute. Like,
well, I mean, like there's a working relationship essentially. Yeah, it's not just like
that
once or twice. That's why everybody talks to each other on. That's why everybody talks to each other on Twitter and all that. There's even a small amount in comments and social media interactions and all that stuff. There's a small amount there of even interaction that keeps the audiences flowing from each other.
So, yes, but no.
No, I mean in a limited capacity.
In a limited capacity, yes. But what I'm talking about specifically more so is being like incorporated. Just kind of like literally having a business where we all agree that we're employees of James Marriott Incorporated, whatever. Wow, I speak goodly. And everyone kind of agrees that we all work under James Marriott Incorporated. But we're not working for them. We're kind of contractors to this incorporated business. But we channel all this revenue through the corporation, and then we take it back for ourselves in our payouts. We get a lower tax rate as well for, you can claim a lot of deductions and expenses for that. And then when we have all this extra revenue coming in through DLive, for example, well, it's itemized. So we know exactly how much money came in, and we know exactly how much money's going out, and nobody can really screw one another. That's kind of the big thing, is that you don't want anyone to have any particularly more power, but you kind of have to have somebody kind of lead the group, kind of like your optic hex. Somebody who kind of like, I'm just making the business calls. You guys are the talent. I'm trying to direct this, but you guys are getting the payout at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
it's a little further than a collaboration, but in the very basic sense, yeah, it's just a collaboration.
Right.
God damn, we've been going on this one for a while.
Well, we spent 20 minutes just riffing.
Yeah, as usual. Just speaking about it more, I'm nervous for DLive. I think their first year is going to be the roughest, because
Well, they've been around for a while, haven't they? Haven't they already been around for more than a year?
they've been there for a while, but ever since the PewDiePie thing.
Oh, you think this is going to be a growth situation where they're not going to be able to handle the growth?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think it's going to come down to that they're going to know how to handle the initial influx, but they're not going to be thinking the whole long game. That's my guess. Who knows?
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a risk.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely glad to see other companies starting to step up and trying to throw their hat in the ring, essentially.
Yeah, and it's about time somebody will actually pull a contender.
There's too many monopolies in online media. That's my issue. There's too many monopolies in online media. Twitch, as much as YouTube is a nice platform to stream on, Twitch is head over heels destroying YouTube in that aspect, as far as I can tell.
In the gamosphere, yeah.
Yeah, YouTube definitely has I'd say YouTube has probably about an equal share of the standard, just chatting live streams.
Yeah, but I think the one thing that still kind of dominates are forum-based things. Your Reddits, your normal chat forums, your news websites, and kind of those things. Those things still kind of have a kind of pervasive dominance over that, because live entertainment is really difficult for some people, more adult-focused people. So that's why you find that, you get a good chunk of adults who are watching streamers, but you mostly are gonna have your younger demographics, but you're gonna find the adults that have the biggest spending power.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's a way they can get kind of a little bit of a balance of both, but I have no idea really.
I'm very interested to see where live streaming goes, because I am not aware of anyone that is able to pull off quite the live stream that Dr. Disrespect does, and he does it by himself. I don't know of a whole lot of people that do these crazy I'm trying to think of the right word for it, but he does all this stuff with all those green screen platforms that he has where it's really just one green screen. He just walks in from different angles and all that. He's got all these different layouts set up to create these different scenes, and it's such an interesting take, and he's playing a character the whole time, but I don't see anybody else really doing that anywhere near his level. But I gotta figure sooner or later there's gonna be something where there's gonna be some kind of I don't want to say a renaissance, but YouTube had a big period where all of a sudden everybody's doing these really crazy, innovative things, right?
Yeah.
What is really special about anybody that's live streaming right now?
Yeah, I would agree.
There's not much.
And
So sooner or later there's gonna have to be somebody that's going to innovate live streaming, and it's going to be oh, you can do that way? And I'm surprised it wasn't Dr. Disrespect doing those green screen things. I'll be honest. I'm really kind of surprised that it hasn't pushed a bunch of people into doing these crazy things. Or maybe it has and they just haven't blown up. I don't know.
Well, because every streamer will tell you they've got to be on 7 days a week for 6 hours, 10 hours a day. I'm nobody has time to think of something like that, which I hate because I think, in my opinion, some of those do pay off.
Yeah.
You know, you do 4 days of prep work to make 1 or 2 really big stream days. You can walk away with a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Like one of the big things I would say is like those tournaments. Tournaments are really big in that type of regards because you think about it, you have qualifiers that you get a couple hundreds or a couple thousand viewers, qualifier rounds for like pros and stuff. But then when the actual tournaments show up and they've got like actual like prepared tournament stuff, I've never seen a tournament get less than 10,000 viewers unless it's like some really unknown game.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to figure out how I can get into live streaming because I've tried doing live streaming gaming and I'm not into it. It doesn't really work out for me very well, and I don't have an audience for. A lot of people are like me, and they just don't have an audience to where they can just do a live stream and have fun with talking to people. So there's got to be something you got to do in the meantime, and that's the thing where a lot of people struggle with getting into live streaming. So I think that's one thing that's going to be really cool with DLive, with all these people jumping in there, is they're just going to jump in there and see what happens.
Yeah. And that'll be good, really. You're gonna finally see some fucking fresh faces and not. Okay, small grape. I've always hated Twitch's system of just put the biggest ones on top, cause that just shows the kind of who's popping off and it'll get more money. Yeah, but you're not growing any fresh faces doing that. I think it was kind of interesting when I think it was Ninja who said it's like, yeah, if you turn off the booty streamers, that doesn't mean they're coming to your stream. But I'm like, that's not entirely true, though. If you take away, like, the stupid, like, the same 150 top streamers, how many different people are there? There's thousands, tens of thousands of different people.
Yeah.
Now, granted, maybe, like, 90% of them suck.
Yeah, it would really depend on who we're talking about because, like, for example, Ninja, like we talked about before, most people are watching him for the gameplay, not necessarily his comedic chops. So, like, if he was to disappear because of his super high level of play, is there really somebody else that's going to stack up in his audience's mind? Probably going to be a really hard time to find that.
No, I disagree. For somebody like Ninja, it'd be real easy to find somebody like that. For somebody like
His skill level?
Yeah. For somebody like Dr. Disrespect, though, not as much, because, you're getting an experience if you're watching Disrespect.
Right. Well, I definitely agree with that. I just thought, I thought that was why people like watching Ninja, because his play is so high level.
Well, that's the thing, is there's so many other pro players out there. Like, a good example is
okay, I got
TSM
you.
Chica.
He's not that godly that he's not like head and shoulders above somebody.
No, I don't think he really competes that much anymore. I don't really know so much now, but no, like a good example is like TSM Chica, like you get somebody who's kind of a nobody, and then Keem gives her a shout out, and the next thing you know, bam, she's got a high level skill play. She's going off the rails now because people can see, oh, she actually kicks ass, like she's really good at playing. And
right.
That's just kind of come down to a skill thing. It's kind of a Ninja thing. I don't think she's necessarily sitting there like, oh, I'm putting on the best show ever. I think it's, no, you just are really good at being competitive in the game. That's not everybody, though.
Right.
All right. Let's wrap up there. So I'm imagining at some point we're gonna want to stream. Needed a little bit of time to get ready to do this. So at some point I'd like to start streaming. What are your thoughts on streaming kind of akin to how like these talk show people are kind of doing? You have any opinion on that per se?
Frame of reference for like the talk show people?
Well, just because the most recent one I seen was like Augie.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought you were talking. I just want to make sure that was. I mean, I'd be down for that. The only thing I worry about is coming off like a rip off of that. And I mean, like, I don't think we would because we're not like focusing on drama stuff. So I think we'd be fine.
Yeah. Well, no, because
I'd totally be down for that.
Because I was thinking about it. Like, I think you kind of laugh about it, but you could kind of laugh about it now. My words are just fucking fantastic. But it's like making the video format of this. I'm like, it just doesn't come off as good as the live streaming version nowadays.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit easier to edit and refine it up a bit more. But I think we're both relatively at a comfortable level where we could go live.
Yeah, I see. That's. I'll be honest. That's the reason I do so bad with live streaming is because I don't have anybody to bounce off of. But I feel like when it's like a conversation between two people, it's a lot or more. It's a lot easier to keep to keep a stream interesting because you have
Right.
that back and forth. Even if it's not like aggressive towards each other or anything, there's still a back and forth that you're following instead of just one person trying to somehow have a conversation with a screen.
Exactly. I think the cool thing to do for something like that is we probably could open up like a Discord server just so we have people like kind of commenting and we have a place to announce when we're going live. I'll cut this out of the episode, but it's like my big concern just is time, because
Yeah.
I think in all honesty, I think we can go back and forth for 2 hours nonstop and be fine. It's just that I think in most circumstances, ideally, we'd be better if we started earlier, like at exactly 8 o'clock, for example.
Yeah, for sure.
And if we did like twice a week, but I totally understand that's a little hard and time consuming to do. So don't get me wrong there. I totally understand it's maybe not perfectly framed for you there.
I want to find something I can do about this. So far it just hasn't been a whole lot of luck with that.
So this is the second episode of Speaking Goodly. No.
Third.
This is going to be the first episode as Speaking Goodly. It's going to probably come out being either the third or the fourth episode, depending on if we live stream tomorrow, assuming we can get somebody talking about the whole Keemstar incident. I am intrigued to see where that goes. But if this is the first episode, it'll be out everywhere, syndicated online. It'll probably come out later, I want to say. But for the most part, what'll probably end up happening is that we'll live stream these, and then I'll take the audio, and then I'll send that out, because not everyone has YouTube Red, and it'd probably be a lot easier to listen to it than to actually like watch it. I think that'd be pretty awesome overall.
Yeah.
And Jake, you got a new video. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, about Boonk. As much as he should be out of the limelight, he basically got a shout out from Netflix for being a comedian, which is total nonsense.
Yeah. But no,
So, yeah, that's on the channel.
it was a killer video. I think you really got a style that's like, oh, okay, I'm interested as hell on these. And for me, I'll get a video out in 14 weeks from now, maybe, but like 12. We'll see where it goes. It depends on how Christmas works. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time, and fuck all you for not giving us a proper name suggestion. No. Okay. Screw all of you politely for not giving us a good name suggestion.
Politely and gently, F you all, is what he's trying to say.
Yes. All right.